In a distant galaxy, two mighty empires had been locked in a relentless war for centuries. The Zorathians and the Kryll, each dominant in their own right, had turned vast stretches of space into battlefields. Stars flickered under the shadows of colossal warships, and the silence of the void was shattered by the echoes of their endless conflict. The Zorathians were a race that epitomized logic and efficiency. Their civilization had reached technological heights that allowed them to manipulate energy and matter with unparalleled precision. Cities of gleaming spires floated above their planets, powered by reactors that tapped directly into subspace. To them, every action was calculated, every decision weighed against countless variables to achieve the most favorable outcome. Opposite them stood the Kryll, a species of proud warriors who lived and breathed the art of combat. They hailed from harsh worlds that forged them into formidable beings, both physically and mentally. Honor was their guiding principle, and they believed that true glory was found on the battlefield. Their ships were less advanced but robust, designed to withstand and deliver punishing blows. Tradition and valor dictated their strategies, and they met every challenge head-on. The roots of their war ran deep. Disputes over territory and resources had ignited initial skirmishes, but ideological differences fanned the flames into a galaxy-spanning inferno. The Zorathians sought to impose their vision of a unified, orderly galaxy under their efficient governance. The Kryll resisted fiercely, determined to preserve their autonomy and way of life. Neither side was willing to concede, and as their technologies advanced, so did the scale of their battles. Despite their immense power, the war had reached a stalemate. The Zorathians' superior technology was countered by the Kryll's relentless tenacity and adaptive tactics. Weapons capable of shattering moons and obliterating fleets were deployed, yet neither could secure a decisive victory. The battlefield became a graveyard of ships and the final resting place of countless warriors whose sacrifices only served to prolong the conflict. The toll on the galaxy was immeasurable. Planets rich in life and resources were laid to waste, their ecosystems destroyed by orbital bombardments and ground assaults. Neutral civilizations suffered as collateral damage, their pleas for peace ignored or unheard amidst the chaos. Trade routes collapsed, and knowledge exchange between cultures ground to a halt. The once thriving tapestry of galactic society was unraveling thread by thread. Among the stars, a pervasive sense of despair took hold. Generations had grown up knowing nothing but war. Art, science, and exploration were neglected in favor of weapons development and military strategy. The galaxy's collective potential was squandered, consumed by the insatiable demands of warfare. Resources dwindled, and even the mighty empires felt the strain on their economies and infrastructures. Amidst this backdrop of destruction, faint whispers began to circulate within the intelligence communities of both factions. In the unexplored fringes of the galaxy, mysterious signals had been detected. These signals were irregular, lacking the hallmarks of known communication methods. They exhibited patterns that suggested intelligent origin, yet their source remained elusive. Analysts and scientists proposed various theories. Some believed these signals were mere anomalies, natural cosmic phenomena misinterpreted as messages. Others speculated they might originate from primitive species not yet worthy of consideration. The pressing demands of the war left little room for curiosity, and so the signals were largely dismissed, relegated to low-priority monitoring. However, a few among the Zorathians and Kryll couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The signals, though weak, persisted and occasionally demonstrated technological nuances that hinted at rapid development. Proposals to investigate further were made but ultimately shelved in favor of more immediate military concerns. Unbeknownst to the warring empires, these signals emanated from a small, blue planet nestled on the spiral arm of the galaxy, Earth. Humanity, having only recently achieved interstellar communication capabilities, was reaching out into the cosmos. Driven by an innate curiosity and a desire to find companionship among the stars, humans broadcast messages of peace and discovery, hoping someone, or something, might answer. On Earth, technological advancement was accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Breakthroughs in quantum mechanics, propulsion systems, and artificial intelligence propelled humanity forward. While still nascent compared to the galactic powers, human innovation was marked by creativity and adaptability. They approached problems from unique angles, often finding solutions that defied conventional wisdom. As humanity's signals grew stronger and more sophisticated, they began to attract subtle attention. Automated probes sent by the Zorathians and KRYL occasionally registered these broadcasts, but lacked the programming to prioritize them. Thus, the potential significance of Earth's emerging presence remained largely unnoticed by the major players. Meanwhile, the Zorathians and KRYL prepared for their next major offensives. Each side believed that a decisive blow was within reach, that victory was a matter of time and perseverance. Resources were mobilized on an unprecedented scale, and new weapon systems were ready for deployment. The galaxy braced itself for another surge of devastation. Yet, in the quiet corners of space, humanity continued its ascent. Early manned missions ventured beyond the solar system, and exploratory vessels charted nearby star systems. With each step, humans learned more about the universe and their place within it. They were unaware of the vast conflict unfolding light years away, focusing instead on the possibilities that lay before them. The stage was unknowingly set for a convergence of fates. While the Zorathians and KRYL remained fixated on their mutual annihilation, a new player was edging closer to the galactic stage. Humanity's approach was not marked by grand fleets or aggressive expansion but by a sincere quest for understanding and connection. Back among the warring empires, small anomalies began to surface. Unexplained glitches in long-range sensors, brief disruptions in communication arrays, minor issues that were quickly attributed to system errors or enemy interference. In reality, these were the first subtle interactions with human technology, which operated on frequencies and principles not yet catalogued by either faction. Some tacticians and scientists grew mildly concerned but faced dismissal when they raised their points. The war demanded absolute focus, leaving little patience for what were perceived as distractions. Thus, opportunities to recognize the burgeoning presence of humanity were repeatedly overlooked. As humanity continued to advance, the potential for an unforeseen shift in the galactic balance grew. The qualities that defined humans, their resilience, ingenuity, and capacity for both creation and destruction, were poised to make a profound impact. The galaxy remained unaware that the key to ending its centuries-long conflict might lie with a species it had yet to acknowledge. While patrolling the outer reaches of their territory, a KRYL scout ship detected an unusual energy signature emanating from a previously uncharted sector. Curiosity piqued, the ship altered course to investigate. Navigating through the cosmic dust and distant stars, they arrived at the source, a small, blue planet teeming with life. Earth stood out like a gem against the backdrop of space, its surface a mosaic of oceans, continents, and swirling clouds. From orbit, the KRYL observed the planet's inhabitants. They were intrigued by the myriad cultures, languages, and societies that had developed independently yet coexisted on the same world. Scans revealed that humanity had achieved significant technological progress in a relatively short time. Cities pulsed with energy, communication networks spanned the globe, and there were clear signs of space exploration efforts. However, by KRYL standards, humans were still considered primitive, lacking faster-than-light travel and advanced weaponry. The scout ship's captain transmitted a report back to KRYL High Command. In it, he described Earth as rich in resources and its inhabitants as potential assets. The KRYL saw an opportunity. Humans could be harnessed as laborers or used to bolster their military ranks. Their rapid development indicated adaptability, a trait the KRYL valued in subordinates. High Command deliberated and approved a covert operation to bring Earth under their control without drawing the attention of the Zorathians or expending unnecessary resources. A specialized infiltration unit was dispatched to the planet. Their mission was to assess human defenses, identify key infrastructure, and prepare for a swift takeover. They employed cloaking technology to avoid detection, blending into the shadows as they gathered intelligence. Confident in their superiority, the KRYL operatives anticipated an easy conquest. However, they underestimated the complexities of human society. As they attempted to hack into communication networks and manipulate systems, they encountered sophisticated cybersecurity measures. Firewalls adapted to their intrusion attempts, and countermeasures traced their digital footprints. Governments and private organizations detected anomalies and responded swiftly, deploying their best analysts and cyber experts to investigate the breaches. On the ground, the KRYL operatives tried to sow discord by exploiting social tensions and influencing key figures. Yet, they found that humanity's social dynamics were intricate and often unpredictable. Their efforts were met with resilience as communities rallied together in the face of unexplained threats. Law enforcement and intelligence agencies around the world began to notice patterns of unusual activity, leading to increased vigilance. Realizing that subtle tactics were failing, the KRYL decided to take direct action. They attempted to disable Earth's satellite networks to disrupt global communications and create chaos. As they initiated their plan, human engineers detected the anomalies in satellite behavior. Teams worked around the clock to isolate and counteract the disruptions. Using innovative algorithms and collaborative problem-solving, they restored functionality quicker than the KRYL had anticipated. Frustrated, the KRYL launched a ground assault on a remote military facility, aiming to seize control of nuclear assets. Equipped with advanced weaponry and stealth technology, they expected minimal resistance. Instead, they encountered well-trained personnel who, despite being outmatched technologically, employed effective defensive strategies. Utilizing guerrilla tactics, the humans leveraged their knowledge of the terrain and unconventional methods to repel the invaders. News of unexplained incidents began to circulate globally. Governments discreetly shared information, and an unprecedented level of international cooperation emerged. Scientists, military leaders, and policymakers convened to address the unknown threat. Drawing on diverse expertise, humanity mobilized resources to enhance surveillance, defense systems, and emergency protocols. Meanwhile, the KRYL infiltration unit found itself on the defensive. Their numbers dwindled as missions failed and operatives were captured or eliminated. The captives remained silent under interrogation, their alien nature concealed by advanced biodisguises. Yet, forensic analyses revealed anomalies that couldn't be explained by known science. Researchers began to theorize about extraterrestrial involvement. As the KRYL struggled, whispers of their difficulties reached the broader network of their empire. High Command was perplexed by the unexpected resistance from what they considered an inferior species. Concerned about drawing attention, they hesitated to deploy larger forces. The operation was meant to be covert. Failure risked not only embarrassment but also potential interference from the Zorathians. Unbeknownst to the KRYL, their encrypted communications were being intercepted. Human cryptographers, using cutting-edge decryption techniques, managed to decode fragments of their transmissions. Although the language was unfamiliar, patterns suggested coordination of hostile activities. This breakthrough confirmed suspicions about an external aggressor and galvanized efforts to enhance planetary defense. The Zorathians, always vigilant for KRYL movements, intercepted similar communications. Their analysts noted the unusual deployment of KRYL resources toward an obscure sector. Curious, they investigated and discovered the existence of Earth. Unlike the KRYL, the Zorathians recognized the potential significance of humanity's rapid technological growth. They considered the strategic advantage of either allying with or neutralizing this emerging civilization. Both empires now had their sights set on Earth, but for different reasons. The KRYL sought to salvage their faltering operation and claimed the planet to bolster their war efforts. The Zorathians contemplated initiating contact to assess whether humans could be integrated into their vision of a logical, orderly galaxy. Back on Earth, humanity was unknowingly preparing for broader contact. Advances in science and technology accelerated as nations collaborated more closely than ever before. The shared threat had unified disparate groups, leading to breakthroughs in energy, materials science, and artificial intelligence. Defense systems were upgraded, and space agencies received increased funding to monitor and protect against extraterrestrial threats. The KRYL made one last attempt to subdue humanity by deploying a stealth vessel equipped with a planetary disruption device. As the ship approached Earth, it was detected by a newly established deep space monitoring array. Alarms sounded, and emergency protocols were activated. Earth's defense forces scrambled to respond, launching interceptors and preparing missile systems. In a daring operation, human pilots engaged the KRYL vessel. Despite the technological gap, they utilized teamwork, ingenuity, and a willingness to take risks. Exploiting a vulnerability identified by scientists who had studied previous encounters, they managed to disable the KRYL ship's cloaking device. Exposed and unable to complete its mission, the vessel attempted to retreat. Seizing the opportunity, Earth's forces captured the damaged ship. This victory marked a turning point, providing tangible evidence of extraterrestrial life and hostile intent. The captured technology opened new avenues for research, and reverse engineering efforts began immediately. The news of the KRYL's defeat at the hands of humans sent shockwaves through their empire. High Command ordered a full analysis and debated the wisdom of committing more resources. The failure highlighted not only the resilience of humanity, but also the risk of exposing their activities to the Zorathians. The Zorathians, upon learning of the KRYL's setbacks, intensified their observation of Earth. They admired the humans' ability to repel a technologically superior foe. Intrigued by the potential of such a resourceful species, they contemplated diplomatic outreach. For them, humanity represented a variable that could alter the balance of power in the galaxy. As both empires reevaluated their strategies, humanity stood at a crossroads. Unaware of the full extent of the cosmic intrigue surrounding them, they continued to unite and innovate. The initial encounters had revealed their unexpected capabilities, surprising not only the alien invaders but also themselves. The discovery of humanity had sent ripples through both the Zorathian and KRYL empires. Recognizing the potential strategic advantage, each faction independently decided to approach Earth with proposals for an alliance. Delegations were assembled, and messages were dispatched, offering technological advancements and protection in exchange for support in the ongoing war. The KRYL presented themselves as noble warriors seeking honorable comrades. They promised to elevate humanity's military prowess, sharing combat techniques refined over centuries. The Zorathians, on the other hand, emphasized logic and progress. They offered access to their vast repositories of knowledge, proposing a partnership that would accelerate human development by millennia. Receiving these overtures, Earth's leaders convened to discuss the implications. Skepticism ran high. Both alien races had agendas that seemed to prioritize their own interests. Intelligence reports highlighted the destructive nature of the Galactic War, raising concerns about becoming entangled in a conflict that had already devastated countless worlds. Humanity chose a cautious path. Diplomatic responses were sent, expressing gratitude for the contact but declining immediate alliance commitments. Instead, humans requested more information about each faction and the broader galactic community. This measured approach allowed time to assess the situation while demonstrating a willingness to engage. Behind the scenes, scientists and engineers were making significant strides. The captured KRYL vessel and its technology provided a treasure trove of information. Teams worked tirelessly to reverse engineer the advanced systems. The result was a new generation of weapons and spacecraft that integrated alien technology with human ingenuity. These innovations weren't mere copies, they were improvements. Humans found ways to optimize energy consumption, enhance shield capacities, and develop propulsion systems that exceeded the capabilities of the original designs. The fusion of technologies led to unexpected breakthroughs, propelling humanity's capabilities forward at an unprecedented rate. As tensions in the galaxy escalated, skirmishes began to encroach upon Earth's region of space. Deciding that passive observation was no longer sufficient, humanity took action. They deployed fleets equipped with their new hybrid technology, ready to defend their home and assert their presence. In their first major engagement, human forces encountered a KRYL battle group pursuing a smaller Zorathian convoy. Instead of choosing sides, the human commanders executed a bold plan. Utilizing electronic warfare techniques, they unleashed a barrage of signals that disrupted the targeting systems of both alien fleets. Confusion ensued as ships lost communication and sensor data became unreliable. Seizing the moment, human ships maneuvered deftly between the fleets, broadcasting messages urging a ceasefire. They offered assistance to any vessel in distress, regardless of allegiance. The unexpected interference and humanitarian gesture caught both sides off guard. It was an approach neither the KRYL nor the Zorathians had anticipated. Word of these actions spread rapidly. Reports described how humans had not only neutralized a potential battle but had done so without significant casualties on either side. This feat was achieved through unconventional strategies that defied traditional military doctrines. Analysts in both empires began to reassess their perceptions of humanity. In subsequent encounters, humans continued to employ innovative tactics. They formed alliances with smaller, subjugated species, offering protection and mutual benefit. Diplomatic teams worked to establish a network of cooperation among those who had been marginalized by the dominant empires. This growing coalition began to challenge the status quo, advocating for an end to the relentless war. On the battlefield, human resilience became legendary. Stories emerged of pilots who, against overwhelming odds, succeeded through sheer determination and clever thinking. Ground forces utilized terrain and environment in ways that baffled enemy commanders. Their willingness to adapt and their refusal to accept defeat inspired others. One notable incident involved a human squadron facing a superior KRYL force. Rather than engaging directly, they deployed drones modified with holographic emitters to create phantom fleets. The KRYL expended resources chasing illusions, allowing the humans to strike strategically at key targets. This deception not only secured victory but did so with minimal loss of life. The Zorathians, intrigued by these developments, initiated more in-depth communications with Earth. They expressed a desire to understand the philosophies and methodologies that drove human actions. Dialogues ensued, covering topics from ethics to technology. Through these exchanges, the Zorathians began to appreciate the nuances of human thought, a blend of logic tempered by emotion and empathy. The KRYL, meanwhile, found themselves increasingly challenged. Their traditional strategies were less effective against an opponent that didn't adhere to the expected patterns. Frustration grew as they struggled to predict human moves. Some among the KRYL leadership began to question the viability of continuing the war, especially as their resources were stretched thin. As the conflict progressed, humanity's influence expanded. They facilitated negotiations between warring factions, leveraging their unique position as outsiders who had proven their capabilities. Their efforts weren't always successful, but they planted seeds of doubt about the necessity of the ongoing war. In one daring operation, human diplomats arranged a covert meeting between moderate leaders from both empires. Using secure channels and neutral territory, they provided a space for dialogue that had been absent for generations. While trust was scarce, the mere act of communication was a significant breakthrough. Humanity's approach was multifaceted. They combined military strength with diplomacy, technological advancement with cultural exchange. Their actions demonstrated a commitment to not just survival but to the betterment of the galactic community. This holistic strategy began to shift perceptions across the galaxy. The turning point came during a massive confrontation near a strategic resource-rich nebula. Both the Zorathian and KRYL fleets amassed for what was expected to be a decisive battle. Human forces intervened, not by choosing a side but by deploying a newly developed technology that temporarily nullified weapon systems within the engagement zone. As weapons powered down, confusion and panic threatened to ignite chaos. Human ships broadcast messages explaining the situation, urging all parties to stand down and consider negotiations. They offered mediation services, emphasizing that continued conflict would only lead to mutual destruction. Faced with an opponent capable of disabling their most powerful assets without bloodshed, the leaders of both empires were compelled to reconsider their positions. The prospect of an endless war with a new variable in play was untenable. Reluctantly at first, they agreed to engage in talks facilitated by humanity. Throughout these events, individual acts of bravery and compassion by humans left lasting impressions. Tales of medics treating wounded enemy soldiers, engineers repairing damaged alien vessels, and civilians providing aid to displaced populations circulated widely. These stories challenge deeply held beliefs about honor, logic, and the nature of conflict. Humanity had shown that strength was not solely measured by might but also by the capacity to inspire change. Their resilience in the face of adversity, and their willingness to extend a hand even to foes resonated with many. It became clear that they were not merely newcomers but potential leaders capable of guiding the galaxy toward a different future. The final days of the war were marked by an intense sense of urgency. The Zorathians and KRYL, weary from centuries of conflict, found themselves at a standstill. Their once grand fleets were now shadows of their former strength, and the galaxy's resources had been stretched to the breaking point. It was in this moment of desperation that humanity stepped forward, offering a path to peace neither side had truly considered before. Human diplomats, backed by a coalition of subjugated species and neutral factions, began the delicate task of brokering negotiations. They understood that the key to ending the conflict wasn't simply dividing territory or exchanging reparations. The root causes had to be addressed, ideological differences that had fueled the war for so long. The Zorathians, with their obsession for order and control, had to face the reality that not all species would conform to their vision of a perfectly structured galaxy. The KRYL, with their unyielding warrior code, needed to accept that endless combat could not bring true honor or glory. The first peace talks were tense, with centuries of mistrust looming over the proceedings. Humanity's role was not merely that of an arbitrator but as a voice of reason, offering empathy and a perspective untainted by the long history of war. Human negotiators encouraged both sides to see past their differences, to recognize that the destruction had brought them to the brink of mutual extinction. They appealed to their sense of survival, offering the possibility of a future where cooperation could benefit all. Slowly, the barriers began to break down. The Zorathians, always pragmatic, started to see the value in compromise. Their empire, once sprawling and efficient, was now riddled with inefficiencies caused by the never-ending war. They realized that a galaxy united in peace, with shared resources and knowledge, could offer them the same stability they had sought through conquest. The KRYL, while more resistant, eventually saw the futility in continuing to fight for an honor that no longer held meaning in a galaxy so ravaged by destruction. After months of intense negotiations, a historic agreement was reached. The Zorathians and KRYL, along with several smaller species, signed the Galactic Concord. It was the first time in millennia that such a treaty had been crafted, and it marked the official end of the war. Humanity, through its unique combination of diplomacy, empathy, and a refusal to accept the status quo, had brokered peace in a galaxy that had all but forgotten what peace looked like. With the war over, the focus shifted to rebuilding. The devastation caused by centuries of conflict was immense. Entire planets had been reduced to wastelands, and civilizations that had once flourished were now struggling to survive. Humanity, now respected as key players in the galactic community, spearheaded the creation of the Galactic Federation. This new entity was not just a political organization but a coalition dedicated to healing the wounds of war and ensuring that such a conflict would never occur again. Under the Federation's guidance, initiatives were launched to rebuild war-torn planets. Technological expertise was shared freely across species, with humans playing a critical role in fostering collaboration. Zorathian engineering and KRYL resilience, combined with human creativity, led to the development of advanced infrastructure that revitalized economies and restored ecosystems. Entire worlds that had once been battlegrounds were now hubs of trade, culture, and scientific advancement. Knowledge exchange became the foundation of the new galactic order. Universities were established on neutral planets, where species from all over the galaxy could come together to learn and innovate. What had once been a fractured and hostile galaxy was now transforming into a collective that thrived on cooperation. Humanity's role in this transformation was undeniable. As the Federation flourished, leaders from across the galaxy took time to reflect on how it had all come to pass. It was clear that the emergence of humanity had been the turning point. Once overlooked and underestimated, humans had proven that their true strength lay not in their technology or military prowess, but in their creativity, compassion, and stubborn determination to survive and thrive. They had refused to accept the binary choice of war or submission. Instead, they had forged a new path, one that had inspired even the most hardened warriors and coldest logicians to reconsider their ways. Alien leaders marveled at how this relatively young species had managed to unite factions that had been at each other's throats for so long. They acknowledged that while humans had their flaws, it was those very imperfections, their emotional depth, their unpredictability, and their relentless hope, that had allowed them to alter the course of galactic history. The Zorathians, once so dismissive of anything not rooted in logic, began to appreciate the value of human creativity. They saw how human innovations had taken their own technology to new heights, and how human cultural exchanges had enriched their understanding of the galaxy. The KRYLL, while still holding on to their warrior traditions, found a new respect for humanity's stubbornness and willingness to face insurmountable odds. They recognized that true honor was not just in battle but in the courage to seek peace when all seemed lost. As the galaxy moved into a new era of peace and cooperation, it became clear that humanity's journey was far from over. The end of the war was just the beginning of their larger role in the galaxy. With new challenges on the horizon, ranging from the exploration of uncharted regions of space to the potential discovery of new civilizations, humans were poised to lead the way. Their capacity for innovation and their drive to explore would push the boundaries of what the galaxy thought was possible. The Galactic Federation, with humans as central members, was now more than just a political entity. It was a symbol of hope, a testament to the belief that even in the darkest of times, a new future could be built through cooperation, understanding, and the indomitable human spirit. In this peaceful galaxy, new adventures awaited. Humanity, alongside its newfound allies, stood ready to face whatever challenges the universe would throw at them. Whether it was expanding the boundaries of known space, discovering new forms of life, or solving the mysteries of the cosmos, humanity had earned its place at the forefront of the next great era. The galaxy had changed, and it was humanity that had lit the way forward.